Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Noontime Knowledge for Presidential Counselors, Volunteers, and Donors. I'm Eric Reinhardt, Director of Campaign and University Initiatives here at Penn State, and it's my pleasure to be your host this afternoon. Thank you all for joining us for a conversation about the Dr. Keiko Miwa Ross Student Farm at Penn State, a unique resource that nurtures student leadership and engages students in the community alike in fostering sustainable food systems. Since its establishment in 2016, the farm has forged partnerships across Penn State, and grassroots fundraising has played an important role in helping us to expand its impact across our community. Today, you'll learn a bit more about how the farm is contributing to our land-grant mission as a student-led living lab for food production and distribution systems. As the program has grown, it's also emerged as a leading model for student engagement and engaged scholarship here at Penn State across a variety of academic colleges and majors. We have some exciting plans to grow the farm physically as well as expanding its programmatic reach and impact. And we'll also talk about opportunities for you to get involved in supporting this work, regardless of where you may be joining us from today. To tell us a little bit more about the farm and its impact, I'm pleased to be joined by my friend and colleague, Leslie Pillen. Leslie is the Associate Director of Farm and Food Systems at Penn State, where she facilitates learning experiences at the farm and serves as a student mentor and advisor within the Penn State and local community. She received a master's degree in rural sociology from Penn State and a bachelor's degree in horticulture from University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Prior to coming to Penn State, she was a program manager for community crops, where she supported farm business learning and training programs. Leslie is also going to be joined by several of our students who are volunteers and leaders out at the student farm, and she'll introduce you to them each in a few minutes. Please feel free to enter any questions you might have in the chat box at any time while Leslie's sharing her remarks. And I'll moderate our Q&A session later on during our time. You'll also be able to use the raise hand feature and ask a question at that time later on once we get to that point. But Leslie, it's great to share the stage with you today, and please feel free to take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for the kind introduction, Eric. I did want to make sure to say happy spring to everybody. We are very excited for springtime here with the student farm. And for any of you who are in Happy Valley today, it promises to be a lovely, warm day today. So very excited for warmer weather. I am going to hopefully successfully share my screen. So I have some slides prepared that I'd like to share with you all to share a little bit about our program. Are you seeing slides in presentation mode? We're just about to be in presentation mode. There we go. Now, okay, I'm seeing some nods. Great. Yeah, so I'm really thrilled to have been invited for all of us, the students, to be invited to share about what we're up to here at Penn State. So I have a few slides. I'm going to try to get through them pretty quickly because I want to make sure we have plenty of time for our students to share about what they're up to and what they're proud of with the work with our program. So several of the slides that I go through, I'm going to kind of go through them pretty quickly, but I know this is being recorded. And so my thought was at least you have some of the information. And if you did want to go back later and kind of look back at stuff and spend some more time, you can. So if it seems like I'm buzzing through some of them a little bit fast, it's because I want to get to the students, but wanted to at least share the info and make sure everyone gets kind of a quick overview along the way. So to get started, as a program, the farm itself actually started in 2016. So we are a fairly young program, but have really accomplished a lot in that time. And I think it's a real testament to how amazing our students are. We established the farm around 3 primary goals that we developed through a series of listening sessions with faculty, staff, and students and community members over the course of about 2 years before even starting the farm. So these are our 3 kind of core, pillars to our mission that we focus on, and that you'll see a lot of our programming obviously then revolves around. Since the farm started in 2016, we started with just 1 acre. And the students and the enthusiasm for the work really grew. And after just 4 years, we were able to expand the program, and we're given 4 acres in expansion from that original 1 acre, as well as we were able to add 2 additional full-time staff to our program at that time. So we've been kind of at this scale with a 4-acre farm and three of us in full-time staff positions for about 4 more years now. And so I'll have some slides later on sharing about our vision for adding a building to the farm, which we are so thrilled about. That is kind of our next big phase of growth and expansion to help support all the great programming and work and connections that the farm enables. So at this point, we have these 3 folks here. We are the full-time staffers. We have a couple full-time AmeriCorps members, and then a whole range of student leaders engaged in all different ways. You're going to get to meet 10 or so of them today. If you make your way to Happy Valley at any point, I hope you'll come, come out to the farm and meet more of our students. They're really wonderful. As a program, I mentioned, we've grown a lot. So I wanted to just kind of quickly share what I mean by growth in that it's not only the, size, the physical size of the farm itself and growing from 1 acre to 4 acres, but also a lot of growth in partnerships and broader food systems work across our campus. So we have students working across all kinds of different areas, not just on campus, but across the broader, State College and Center County communities as well. This is hot off the press. We work to publish an annual report each year that presents our accomplishments in a visually, fun and appealing way. I put a little picture of Eden here in the corner. She's our current graphic design intern. So this has been a paid position for Eden. She's a graphic design major. She's been in the role for the past 2 years, and this is one of the biggest projects of the year to put all these numbers, all this info in one, central space to share with our groups who visit the farm or come to presentations with us. So really great metrics that I hope our students are all proud of, and I know I'm really proud of just how much we accomplish each year, obviously in production, but also in that community engagement and academic learning and such as well. This will be posted on our website soon. If you go on our Instagram, we have some, and Facebook as well, posts about it that you can kind of dig into the numbers a little bit more there as well. So I wanted to share a little bit about exactly how students get involved with the program and what that looks like across our campus. So one of the perhaps most fun ways is through actually eating the produce. So the bulk of the produce that we grow on the student farm, and it is a veggie farm, maybe I should clarify that, diversified vegetables, herbs, cut flowers, and a little bit of fruit. We will be planting raspberries and blackberries this spring, so excited to expand fruit production even more. But so the bulk of the food we grow goes straight to students through the dining halls. So any student with a meal plan that eats in the dining halls has access to student farm produce year round. We also run a CSA program that our student managers run. There's a photo there on the bottom right of some of our students at CSA distribution, and that's open to the campus community. So faculty, staff, or students are able to join that. And then over the past couple of years, as we've continued expanding some of our production and productivity, we've really been excited to expand into some more kind of donation opportunities, increasing food security and like nutrition quality access for students, as well as more cooking demonstrations and the like. So something that I'm very proud of, and one of our students who's here today, she can share a little more about it too, is our Feed the People market stand that we started in the hub a couple of years ago. So this is a veggie stand that we set up right inside the hub every week throughout fall semester and offer up these, super fresh student-grown veggies to students. And we run it on a pay-what-you-can model. So students who don't access vegetables because of cost issues, they can choose to pay a partial price or choose to take produce for free, whatever they feel they can afford. So this report shows about half pay the regular, retail price, and then about 20% pay a partial price that's up to them, and then almost 1/3 take veggies for free. So we're really excited that we're getting more fresh veggies straight to students, and it's really fun to see repeat students coming back week to week, sharing recipes and how they use the vegetables, and just helping increase diversity of students' diets on campus. Another big way that students get involved is through their academics. So just in the last 3 years, we've supported around 140 class engagements across a number of colleges. And then we also support a number of credit-based independent student experiences every year. So these are a couple screenshot snippets from the blog on our website, where you can read more about lots of different student experiences where they complete capstones or other internships. So like Lainey on the bottom left, she was a student who graduated last year from SMEAL, and so she developed a business plan for our succulents that the students grow. So just as one example of how students are able to connect the mission and vision of the program with their academics. We also host a number of both paid and credit-based students through internships on the farm. Obviously, if they're out on the farm, then they're gaining farming skills, but in addition, they gain really excellent, professional skills in things like public speaking, volunteer management, teamwork, customer engagement, and managing our emailing and wholesale like invoicing and stuff. So a lot of really solid skills the students are building. Another way students get involved is through volunteering with the program. So we host work days throughout the year for all different ages. This would be another way for if you're in town and looking to explore the farm a little more, you can check our website, and we keep a calendar there for volunteering times that are open to anybody for on the farm or in the greenhouse with us. So you can sign yourself up or sign your family up and come join us for a few hours, no experience necessary. And our team will, orient you and get you onboarded, and you can help us out for a little bit and get that experience. And then, of course, there's lots of Greek orgs and other service organizations that need service hours. So we host a lot of group events for those folks throughout the year. Another lovely way that students are involved and deeply involved with the program is through our student farm club. And a lot of the students you're going to hear from here in a couple minutes are in leadership roles with the club. So it has the term farm in the name of the club, but they really do, anything and everything across food systems. There's room for anybody and any kind of interest area or passion that a student has. What I hear a lot from students is that they love Student Farm Club because they find kind of their people, and they feel, encouraged and supported to pursue their passions and interests, and to get to do that with community. So these are just a few examples of some of the project teams that the club runs throughout the year. And then in addition to Student Farm Club, just under 2 years ago, we got to help support and start a new club on campus called Food Recovery Network. And so this is kind of an outgrowth, of the farm and Student Farm Club and all the energy of the students and their passion around food systems. So through Food Recovery Network, we're now recovering meals from dining halls across campus 5 days a week and distributing this leftover food. So this is food that is leftovers and would just get tossed, but is still perfectly safe and edible. And so our students are going around to the dining halls, recovering that food, and then redistributing it to places of need around the community. So it's going to the Lions Pantry, Ava Java Coffee Shop, which is a free coffee house downtown, State College Food Bank, out of the Cold Homeless Shelter, and a couple other outlets around town. So pretty cool. They're covering literally hundreds of meals per week at this point, and just really awesome to see the passion of the students in both, mitigating food waste as well as addressing food security through that resource. And then one of the other really fun ways that students get involved with the program is through our events. So we host events year-round and really work to leverage events as an opportunity to not only educate people and bring people together, but also to give a platform for a whole diversity of student groups to like run an educational station and invite people to engage with them, and through that get some exposure to a broader audience. We also work to develop student-led workshops throughout the year. I know Hans is going to be talking. He's led a houseplants workshop a few times. So our goal there is for, maybe if students haven't really done much public speaking or sharing about something that they're passionate about, we work to provide a framework where they can share that. So I know we have like a kombucha workshop next month, for example, that a couple of students are running, or the jam making workshop that's listed here in the March events. So lots of really fun events that I think also are just a testament to the students' hard work and leadership skills that they're developing. So here I'm showing kind of the graphics from what we consider kind of our big 5 annual events. And Harvest Fest in particular is our biggest event. This last fall, we hosted over 1,600 people on the farm for that event. And this is all planned by a team of students. So, you know, the budgeting and the logistics planning and the coordination and all of that that goes into hosting 1,600 people for one big event is tremendous. And I think, well, I know I see the students, just learn so much through that. So having these kind of real world planning experiences and team building experiences are really valuable. And then it's so gratifying when folks come and enjoy the event and have a good time and, make a new connection or learn something new. So if you do live in town, our next big one is next Monday, March 24th, and that's down in the Hub in Heritage Hall, and the whole community is welcome and invited, so come check that out. And then later, last Friday of spring semester will be our annual plant sale, and it is the 11th annual Student Farm Club plant sale fundraiser for the club each year. Last thing, just on, I kind of mentioned this around, trying to invite different student groups and things to partner with us and hosting activity tables and the like at our events. So this is just our list of partners just from 2024 alone. So hopefully gives some sense of, how broadly our students and teams reach across the whole community. Yeah, I was pretty excited. I actually hadn't put this slide together before. I just made it for this. And once I did it, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I hope we're all really proud of our students for this kind of engagement with the broader community. Okay, so that's kind of a broad overview of how the program operates, how students get involved, and how we've grown over the past 8 years, 10 years or so. So just to transition into a few photos of the farm, I would love for you all to come visit and do an actual live tour on the farm sometime or come to one of our on-farm events. But in lieu of that, a few photos are going to have to do. So here's some of our intern crew and inside one of our high tunnels. More interns, and I think the right one was a farm club work night where they helped out on the farm during one of the club meetings. Also lovely lighting in the fall out there on the farm. Some different examples of like hosting students for, field lessons and that kind of thing, as well as this was actually, I think, a homeschool group of kids that came and they loved rock picking. It was the most fun thing. They had a blast and they got to do a tour and they tried salad turnips, all kinds of things. And so just a fun way where, people of all ages get to enjoy and experience the farm. These are a couple from some of our cooking events on the farm. On the left is at night. And then on the right is one of our Sunday brunch series events that we did this last fall. So we've kind of built a makeshift kitchen inside one of our high tunnels that we've been utilizing. And I'll show some photos here momentarily of the design and plans for adding a building to the farm, but definitely adding a kitchen, like a real kitchen, is one of the most exciting things that we have in the, in the works for that expansion. And then this was just an event this fall that I thought was so lovely that I wanted to share. One of our AmeriCorps members and our farm manager, Darren, they planned and hosted a bouquet making night where they taught people how to arrange, make floral arrangements. And then we had all these fresh blooms right there from the farm that folks got to make their own bouquet and take home. So here's everyone sitting out, learning about it, as Ayana shares about how to make the bouquets, and then everyone making their arrangements. And I think it was really special too, because it was a student farm club meeting night. So lots of students came out, but we also were able to pair it with a visit from the Pine Grove Mills Garden Club. So we had a group of just really lovely ladies who were part of the Pine Grove Mills Garden Club and came out and joined us. And I think that kind of intergenerational piece is also a really wonderful part of the program. So those are some photos of the farm. Oh, and then I put this one next because if you look at this photo and where everyone is sitting, the right where they're sitting is where we are aspiring to build this building that we're planning for and working on fundraising for. So if you look at this grass, that is right where this new building is intended to be. And the vision is that it enables us to keep doing what we do, but to do it and reach even more people and be able to do things even if maybe there's some inclement weather at times. So there's a few more photos you can see. So for us to be able to host performances, live music, that kind of thing, for us to have some outdoor classroom space where all these classes that visit us can, have a roof and somewhere to set their backpacks, or for the teacher to do some presenting, that sort of thing. And then I mentioned the kitchen as well. Let's see, I think, oh, real quick, this one shows just kind of again where it'll be situated on the farm itself at that hillside, kind of overlooking all the fields and the high tunnels. And then this is the one I wanted to point out where the kitchen will be right here. I think you can see my mouse, hopefully. Actually, maybe I need to do it right here. Kitchen, classroom, muster space for our interns to be able to put their bags and, take lunch breaks and breaks. Some better conditions for washing and packing all the vegetables that we grow and wash each year. Cold storage for those vegetables. Really just all the resources that we need to support the production, the education, and the bringing together of community that that the farm really is and does throughout the year. So we're very excited about this and would love to, have more folks involved. It's definitely a kind of all hands on deck thing to make this come to be. But yeah, I hope that gives you a nice overview of the program. I believe that this is my moment to transition to students. Hattie, I don't have a transition slide. Sorry, I'm just gonna bounce it right over to you. So if each of you can just kind of popcorn it right onto the next student and share a little bit, that would be great. And I guess as you go, then I still have control of the slides. So just as you popcorn it, I'll switch to the next slide.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I'm Hattie. That's just a little bit of background about myself. Something that I'm most proud of in regards to my involvement with the student farm is my ability to connect with other students from all different majors and backgrounds. As a social chair, I was in charge of recruiting new members at the involvement fairs. As you can see, we have our little Peapod costumes that we wear for the involvement fairs. And then as the director of club programming, I lead the weekly club meetings and welcome both new and old members. The student farm welcomed me to a community that has given me my closest friends. So to have the opportunity to give that experience to other students with similar interests and passions just means everything to me. Leading the club meetings has also given me more confidence in public speaking and leadership, as well as the ability to plan ahead and work with last minute changes and obstacles. As far as the building on the farm, having a building would help to bring more students to the farm through classes, cooking demos, and other events. Like I mentioned, we do a lot of our recruitment through involvement fairs, but if students don't see us there, it can be difficult to let them know we exist otherwise among everything else going on at Penn State. The farm offers opportunities that no other club or organization at Penn State does. And giving people more access to the farm via an established building extends our outreach in ways that are not possible without one. The same goes for community members. Having a building that can hold people in any weather event with real bathrooms allows us to host all kinds of new events for the community. Our interns also work long days in the sun to provide fresh local produce for the campus and community. And they deserve to have real bathrooms and a place to cool off. So also joining the student farm, it was probably the best decision I've made at Penn State. It can be difficult to find community among such a large student body, but the Penn State Student Farm is full of kind, compassionate people who welcome every student with open arms and strive to make a real difference. It provides an outlet to get in touch with nature and get your hands in the soil after long lectures and exams. And it's a breath of fresh air that every student needs and deserves. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Hattie. I think Hans, you're next. Oop, where did my mouse go? Maybe.
All good.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. All right, guys. Nice to meet you. I'm Hans. I only have so much time to talk. I'm currently on my lunch. I'm a high school student teacher right now, and so I only have so much time to talk and everything. But there's my slides. That's everything you need to know about me. Like Hattie, I've spent 2 years as the club programming director. So a lot of things that she said, I also got to see and benefit of, and I feel really proud of being the club programming director for my sophomore and junior year. I got to see the club grow a lot. When I was first joining the club meetings maybe had, like 10 people or so, and it was the same consistent 10 people every week. But as the years progressed and more people got to hear about what we were doing and what it meant to be part of the student farm club, it was really a great thing to see how many more people started to get involved over the last 2 years. And I mean, looking back on like what everything the farm is doing this year is just, outstanding. The amount of reach that we have. One of the things that Leslie talked about was the Harvest Festival. That was something that I was on a planning committee for the last 3 years. So this year's and the last two previous ones, I was on a planning committee for that. And that is also something I am very, very proud of. It is a great event that we get, well over 1,000 people to come out see the farm when it's at its most beautiful time. They get to see all the flowers, maybe bring some home with them, get some great food, and just really enjoy the farm for what it's meant to be. And so with that in mind, I believe that having a building at the farm would just increase the amount of people that are able to be exposed to like the great things that are happening on this farm. I included some pictures, of just little things around the farm that I really appreciate that have stuck with me. The tomato valleys, I would call them basically. Those definitely have stuck with me. And that's something that I remember as people come to the farm and stuff to just see it for the first time. That is something everyone points out is like, oh my gosh, look at all those tomatoes that you guys have. So with the farm building, I just hope to see more people coming out to the farm and getting to interact with the farm in the same way that I've gotten to the last 4 years, and everyone else on this panel as well. I think that's what we're all hoping for, is just to get more people involved and to see why the club is such a great thing and why people, stick with it this entire time. I would just say also, when I first joined the student farm club, I really, I was a little freshman, no idea what I was doing. I knew going in, I wanted to join a club that had a greenhouse, and I heard the student farm club had some greenhouse time, and that's why I joined it. And 2 weeks later, I was doing like sign stoppage and road control for Harvest Festival a week later, and I didn't realize how big the farm was until that week. And I just realized, I'm like, oh, this is definitely a club I could stick with. The amount of different things that we do and the different people we support, it's just a really amazing thing. And so I just really hope that, like future generations and future classes are able to check out all the amazing things we do and help them with it as well.
Thank you, Hans. I didn't expect to start cheering up. I should have prepped for that, hearing you guys talk. Thanks, Hans.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Justin.
Hello, I'm Justin. I worked on the student farm as an intern in the intern cohort. I'll be returning this year to continue my work. During my time, I was the greenhouse manager. So that was a lot of leading seeding schedules, watering schedules and stuff like that. The farm is really meaningful to me because being new to ag, I was coming into a whole different field. I'm from Philadelphia, I'm from the city. So ag is something totally new to me, and coming to the farm has just given me a lot of meaningful experiences. Taught me a lot of skills, just as far as talking to people, teaching people different skills that I learned and working with my hands. I'm a big time like outdoors guy. I like being outside. I like working with my hands, interacting with the earth, and the farm really gave me that opportunity. And also a lot of opportunities outside of the farm. Leslie connected me with a lot of different places like the Penn State Sustainability Experience Center and the Lions Pantry, which I really appreciate. I'd say if you want to work with the nicest people in the world, like Leslie, Darren, McKenna, Marta, they're some of the nicest people on campus, and I really appreciate them. And my time at the farm has been great because of them. I think having a building on the farm will really ground us as an actual place at Penn State, because the farm is a bit out of the way, and not many people know there's a farm on campus. And I feel like a building will really help people like recognize us and have a place for people to really meet and interact with us. Yeah, that's my spiel. I love the farm, and I'm glad to be able to keep working with the farm moving forward until I graduate.
Thank you, Justin. It takes everyone to make it such a great culture and community. So thanks. Katie. Oop, sorry, skipped ahead. Still Katie then.
Hey everyone, I'm Katie. I'm currently serving as the director of campus outreach for the club, which means I'm basically in charge of a lot of the collaborations we do. As Hans was talking about, in the fall, we have our huge event called Harvest Fest, which I helped organize collaborations with the chefs from the village, which is the retirement community right above the farm, as well as campus organizations like Eco Reps and the Arboretum. And then also was able to continue a partnership with a sustainable art class, and they run a natural dye station at Harvest Fest. But beyond that event, the space is utilized for um, many club activities. For example, at the beginning of each year, we host something called the Sustainable Food Systems Kickoff, where a bunch of organizations like Food Recovery Network and the Lions Pantry come out, and people can come and learn about the variety of different clubs. During Parents and Family Weekend, we also invite people out for a lunch and host the public for tours. Um, Again, like reaching beyond to the broader community. Having a permanent structure for these events would ensure they went smoothly. Right now, they really do rely on the weather. So if it's raining, we know our attendance is going to be less than it would be if the weather was really nice. And then also with a complete kitchen and a classroom, we could expand the type of activities we do. I'm graduating this May, and I'm really sad to say goodbye to the farm. It's one of my fondest memories, being at Penn State. You really can't beat the people. Honestly, the beauty of the farm and just like the education that can be applied like way beyond Penn State. So yeah, thank you.
Katie. All right, Lily.
Alrighty. Hi everyone, I'm Lily. I was involved with the Feed the People market stand last fall, and I think that was the most impactful work that I've done with the farm. With that opportunity, I had the chance to meet and interact with over 450 students, faculty, staff, and community members, and just talk about how great veggies are. So I got to answer questions like, what's that funky looking veggie? And how do I cook it? Or how do I eat it? And just generally provide fresh, healthy food to those that might not normally have access to it. So it was a really rewarding position. So the student farm does amazing work, but we are limited with our efforts and impact because the farm doesn't have a permanent building. So we are a team of problem solvers, creatives, and visionaries. So we found temporary ways to work around this problem, but they aren't really sustainable, and they restrict us in our work because they require, energy and work and travel. So a building would allow us to fully focus on the student farm's missions and goals. So it would also just build a safer experience and a more accessible experience for not only farm crew members, but also volunteers and families and anyone that might be a little bit apprehensive about being in the sun all day and the heat. So, the student farm is just a gateway to so many opportunities. It's almost like a choose your own adventure. So, as a student, you can get involved with activities like hydroponics, on-campus gardens, youth education, food justice, cooking events. The Student Farm Club has a lot of different leadership opportunities and opportunities for personal growth and skill building. Leslie and Darren and Marta are all really flexible, and they really push for student success. And so through their flexibility and help, I was able to go through an internship fulfilling a requirement for my leadership development minor, where I did work for the Feed the People market stand. And I also worked with the youth education project team. So generally, the student farm is just a great way to find your fit, both within agriculture, but also within Penn State.
Thank you, Lily. All right. I think Martina, you're next.
Hi, my name is Martina. You can find my information on the slide there. Something I'm most proud of in my work with the student farm is being involved with the Cooking Collab project team. As you might have heard from other speakers, the project teams are really like the life of our club. And as a part of these cooking collabs, I've had the opportunity to help organize events of over 70 people. And I've really developed leadership and kitchen skills, and it's allowed me to support a program that I really love. Having a building on the farm would greatly expand how many people we can reach with these cooking events. They're some of our most popular club events, and we really take advantage of all the materials we have on the farm. Right now, we have a farm kitchen in one of our high tunnels. But in terms of reaching more of the student population, having a permanent building and more permanent kitchen fixtures would really allow us to reach more people who are unfamiliar with the kitchen processes and show them every step of the food system from harvesting to washing, preparing, and finally eating, which I think really supports the mission of the student farm. Advice I would give to freshmen and new people approaching the student farm is that it is one of the most kind and welcoming environments I've ever had the privilege to be a part of. Even if you don't know what you're interested in, or if you've never stepped foot in an agriculture environment, the people at the student farm are so excited to share what they know with you and help you find something that you would be interested in. And once you find that, they are gonna push every resource they have your way. I've been involved with cooking activities and just involved with general activities with the club since my freshman year. And our advisors, Leslie, Marta, and Darren, have provided me with so many resources. Right now, I'm starting the process of exploring my thesis with the student farm. So just having more of that permanent infrastructure would allow the team to expand that reach even more. Thank you.
McKenna.
Hi everyone, I'm McKenna Loney. What's not included on this slide is that I'm a 2+2 student. I started at Penn State Brandywine, and that was when I first heard about the student farm. I was planning to come up to University Park and have full-on success right away because I know a lot of friends of mine struggle a lot to adapt to a whole new large campus. And once I joined the farm email list, already just from how that was portrayed, and then once I got to actually work at the farm between my summer of Penn State Brandywine, transitioning from there to University Park, I knew I was in the right place. I had that family. It felt like a family immediately, getting to work with all my colleagues. And then once the school year started, getting to meet the whole club and everyone that got to ran that, how much programming that we got to do and the operations that we got to carry out through the farm has been extremely beneficial. I love to get my hands dirty, but I didn't expect myself to have an even more enriching experience out of that with leadership and getting to teach people from all different backgrounds and learn from all those different people within our Penn State community and State College community. And I got to grow with managerial skills and getting to manage large groups through my internship experience and through a mentorship, but also through the farm as a field production director, getting to meet that halfway point between our physical farm structure and then everyone that's been involved with the club. So with all of that, we do a lot of operations, and it's been really exciting getting to look at our annual reports to see how much we've really accomplished just from that operations standpoint. But we currently use Easy Up tents to process following standard operating procedures for all of our produce. And we have a high tunnel where we will hang out during the cold winter months while we're still working on the farm. So knowing that we'll have a permanent structure to maximize that efficiency, but also know that we don't have to put additional time into putting up and tearing down those Easy Up tents, getting to have luncheons with Penn State faculty and staff as often as possible in that physical space, through a youth education program where we get to work with State College Borough elementary schools, getting to bring them to that physical structure, all the while adds to a beautiful flow of how our farm already works. And I also really resonate with what Lily said about choosing your own adventure. You really do get to choose where you get to dabble in. There's so many students here that I wish were here that are in leadership through Student Farm Club that have gotten to accomplish and grow in so many ways just through our program itself. I'm very grateful for the farm, and I am also graduating this May. I'm sad to leave, but I'm also very excited to be coming back and seeing how the program continues to grow, and having that be reflected in a structure on the farm will further legitimize our mission and promote it to even more people that come. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Okay, Rebecca, I think, is next. Got three more students.
Hi, everyone. So my name's Rebecca. Sadly, also a senior involved with the student farm here. So do not mind me if I get a little emotional through all of this. But in addition to our food justice ties and trying to address food insecurity, I'm really proud of the student farm's ability to delegate out leadership opportunities, which I've really had the opportunity to expand upon during my time here at Penn State. So through my sophomore and junior year, I was the treasurer of the club and also led our annual club fundraiser, the plant sale. And actually last year, the team worked together and we raised over $13,000, all with plants that were grown by students from seed. So it's a super cool thing. So if any of you are in the area on Friday, May 2nd, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., we are right across the road from the creamery. So please stop by, say hi, take home some organically grown plants. But this opportunity also allowed us to really collaborate with the Ceramics Club or Clay Coven, as well as the Horticulture Club to further expand upon our outreach and build connections. And then additionally, through my senior year, I'm now the executive director of the Student Farm Club. And I am super grateful for my opportunity to build upon additional leadership opportunities, as well as my professional skills. It has been incredibly rewarding to lead retreats for the executive team, some of which who are in this meeting today, as well as to see them grow both professionally and personally. Additionally, working with Leslie and Marta every week, almost daily, has been incredibly beneficial to my growth as a student and an adult. They are the most amazing advisors I could ask for, as well as Darren, who is so supportive of our intern crew, as well as the club. They are so encouraging, and I can't ask for anyone better. They sacrifice so much of their personal time for our experiences just so we can succeed. So I think the Farm Hub would be a great way to give back to our advisors and staff through a landmark building that will physically show the passion and dedication of those involved with the farm program. Getting the opportunity to build this building will create better operations for the community, bring new experiences, and engage better accessibility. I hope to see this building be used by our other partnering orgs or other people to lead their own retreats or host their own events. And this will really demonstrate what is possible through years of hard work and just deep connections with our community. For any incoming students, any students that are in this meeting, or any of you that have kids, grandkids that are attending Penn State, I hope they have a passion for food, agriculture, sustainability, or health. And if they do, please push them towards the Student Farm Club. It really is the place for them. It's where I found my forever family and some of my closest friends. I personally grew up in Adams County, which is an agriculturally rich county here in Pennsylvania. And as a freshman, I wanted to feel more connected to my home. And by joining this program, I was allowed to deepen my roots, but also grow and flourish in my own interests, allowing me to secure a job position in a greenhouse back home as a site manager. So thank you to everyone and the Student Farm. I think Sarah is next.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I am in my last semester at Penn State, so just about to leave the program, which is very sad. But I have been involved with the student farm for about a little over a year now, and during that time, I've gotten really involved in the food justice space. I worked with another student involved in the program to coordinate the very first Food Justice Summit at Penn State, which was really exciting to see a group of students who are passionate about the topic of food justice come together to advocate for change and address some key faculty and staff members that are working in those areas. And I just had the chance to meet so many people that are also passionate about that work and collaborate with them and really like start to get things done. And I guess this type of work is a little different than a lot of the other things that go on with the student farm because it's not directly like working on the farm or getting my hands dirty. So when visitors come to the farm, they don't necessarily get to see the type of work that I'm doing. So having a permanent structure in place where I would be able to showcase this type of work and other students could showcase their work that isn't necessarily directly working on the farm and growing veggies, I think would be really valuable, and give visitors the opportunity to see everything that the farm is doing. And I guess for students that are interested in joining the farm program, this is a really great opportunity to um, kind of explore different interests and find your passions. I know that on the academic side, the classes I'm taking, I didn't necessarily find what I wanted to do for a long-term career. But after getting involved with the student farm, I've really been able to deepen my interest and passion in food systems based work. And it's kind of like helping me navigate where I want to go after graduation and possibly going to grad school. And also, the student farm has been a huge driver in so many changes that take place on campus. So, if you're someone who's very passionate about food justice or just wanting to make change in a small community, it's a great opportunity to get engaged in that area. So, yeah, thank you. And I think Sebastian is next.
Please, Sebastian.
Hey everyone, my name's Sebastian Arouse. Unlike a lot of the other people on this call, I'm a freshman. I've just, in terms of getting started with the student farm, I'm like just getting my journey started, but I would reiterate everything that everyone has said. I mean, in my not even a full year at Penn State, I've been able to get involved with so much with the student farm. Along with the stuff on the screen, I'm as well going to be taking over as the succulent project team leader in this coming fall. And I'm super excited about that. And I'm doing a ton of things. And so I think really what I'm so proud of at my brief time at Penn State is just the fact that I've been able to get into a position where I've been able to learn a bunch of different things regarding to leadership, but then as well like actual farming, because there's a required class for the interns that they have to take where we learn about everything farming related. Um, and as well, I've been able to interact with a bunch of different people. A lot of these people on the call I've worked with, and then as well I've worked with Leslie, and like they're all just amazing people that I've been super lucky to be able to work with. Um, as for building on the farm, I mean, I remember I went to Harvest Fest and I volunteered there for a bit. And I'll be honest, it shocked me at how much it felt like a home without there being any actual physical buildings. And so really what it is that, by having a true building on the farm, it's only going to allow for like a proper home for the farm and allow the farm to be able to continue doing everything that they do, but then to do it 10 times better and do 10 times more. So it's an amazing thing. As for students that would want to get involved, well, first I'd say do it, because I mean I can speak from experience. It's an amazing thing, you can't go wrong. But then as well, really, the really to sum it up is that there's so many different things, so many different project teams, so many different activities that you can do, that there's going to be something for everybody. And so you're bound to find your community. And once you find that community, it makes, a campus of 48,000 students feel like a nice little friendly neighborhood. And so it's an amazing experience. And I'm very excited to be able to continue my journey with the student farm.
Thank you, Sebastian. That was wonderful. I think we are maybe a little over time, so I'm supposed to turn it back over to our host, Eric.
That sounds great. Thanks, Leslie and students. I know we can definitely feel your passion, and it's so inspiring just to hear from a few of you who are really dedicating your time and your talents to make the farm such a success. So thanks from all of us for your hard work. So we're technically past time, but we're going to stay on for a few minutes, I think, to do some Q&A. Those of you that do have to sign off, thanks for attending. There'll be a full recording of this in a post-event email, as well as on the Raise Penn State YouTube page. I know some of you have already entered some questions, but those of you, feel free to continue to add them in the chat box. But I'm going to jump right in with a couple of the submissions we've had thus far. So I think I'll throw this first one to you, Leslie. This comes from Elizabeth, who's curious about whether students and staff who are handling the food, teaching classes, that sort of stuff, have any food safety training, or what part of that is incorporated in your programming.
Yeah, great question. That's definitely important with handling food and serving meals. So Marta on our staff team has her ServSafe certification, the full level. So we work with the chefs and dining on campus to get that. And then we're really fortunate to work with a number of students in the nutrition major, and they all have to get ServSafe. Same for hospitality management too, actually, by I think their third or fourth year, they get ServSafe. So we do end up having a number of students who have the full certification. And then there's a lower level training course that we also offer for like basic food handling needs, like with Food Recovery Network, that students complete before they're handling food. So yeah, very fortunate to work with the chefs on campus for all of that.
Good, great to hear. Our next question comes from Mitchell, who's asking a specific question about interaction with the HRIM program, either currently or planned. And I know you kind of teased some of the academic interactions that take place across the university. So maybe addressing that, and if there's another great one to highlight that maybe you wouldn't expect, what that academic interaction on the farm looks like.
Yeah, with HM hospitality management, I think somebody else made a comment about Cafe Laura in the chat. I think I saw that early on. So Cafe Laura does order produce from the farm for some of their feature meals and things. And I think that's really cool that we could continue expanding on. So you have student produced food in their restaurant, Cafe Laura, but to have the actual vegetable ingredients grown by students as well, I think is a great story that, there's lots of potential there to keep building out that relationship. And then academically, we work a lot, particularly with Dr. Amit Sharma in the Food Decisions Lab and with some of his colleagues in HM. So definitely a wonderful collaboration across, kind of some culinary arts and hospitality areas that food touches on.
I think maybe I'm gonna cede this one. I thought one of the more interesting interactions that you had told us about is one of the curricular engagements with College of Arts and Architecture. And maybe could you mention that a little bit? I think that's a kind of neat story.
Yeah, sure. That is one of my favorite collaborations as well. So for several years now, we've worked with a few of the faculty in the School of Visual Arts to grow crops on the farm that are used to produce dyes. And they run a course each fall called Sustainable Studio. So students in this art class actually come to the farm, harvest the plant material, and then process it into making natural dyes. And along the way, they're getting some lessons about things like crop rotations and soil health as well, and how that can influence the quality of the dye in the plant. So pretty cool to weave in, some agronomy and plant science principles with art as well.
Yeah, it's one of I think the unique stories that I think is a good way to showcase just how interconnected the farm is to a lot of the other curriculum that happens on campus. Another question came from Roger, who's asking some specifics about a little bit more about the proposed facility expansion. So, cost of the building, how it's going to be financed, projected timeframes, that sort of thing. If you want to lead off, and I can maybe fill in some gaps if needed.
Yeah, sure. So the images that I shared were produced by an architecture firm out of Philadelphia that we've gotten to work with called Dixout. And so we're kind of through the concept phases of the building. And Eric, you have one in your background actually too, which is fun. That was one of their renderings. So we're at the phase of now knowing, what we want, and that cost-wise, we're looking at fundraising around $8 million to build the building, which to us kind of sounds like a lot, but I think it's still pretty modest for Penn State. So we're optimistic that we can, find some community and partners that will help us with fundraising and making that a possibility. Timeline-wise, I think it's kind of, we could use the space now, so it's as soon as we're able to keep moving forward. And yeah, Eric, that's probably where you know more on kind of timelines.
Yeah, I mean, I think Leslie's right. We're, I think, getting ready to enter in that next phase, and I think we're on the cusp of moving into that final design period. I will mention, this is a little different than some of the other building projects at Penn State, where this one is pretty much almost entirely going to be philanthropically supported through philanthropy, and so that's where, a real need for us to help, leverage this network of volunteers and counselors and things and that to help us identify folks who really might be find this to be an area of passion of where they can have real impact and visible opportunity to sort of create that legacy that really touches a lot of different folks students, community members in a really visual and impactful way. So I think we're excited to kind of be on this journey and continue to advance those dialogues. We're getting close. Maybe I'm thinking another question or two. I do have one. I know one of the students, McKenna, I think, mentioned 2+2. And so there's a question about farms and other Commonwealth campus locations and what any partnership between the farm and the farm club here looks like with other campuses across the Penn State system.
Yeah, we have historically had some strategic plan, like seed grant funding, that enabled us to help support expansion at a couple of the campuses, Beaver and Barron specifically. So they've built out more garden programs there. McKenna was at Brandywine, and they have a really lovely garden. Several of the campuses do as well. A lot of them grow their gardens for like food security purposes, kind of like we were sharing with the Feed the People market stand. It's often difficult for students, either, you know, just lack of transportation to access fresh produce options, or cost-wise to procure fresh vegetables and fruits. And so a lot of campuses have gardens to help kind of address food security on their campuses, plus just give that space and opportunity for students to come together and grow food together. That I think is itself very nourishing to, you know, get to do that work in community. And then one other thing that we've actually kind of built on from that over the years is last year and the year before, we hosted the first annual and second annual Northeast Student Farmer Conference. So actually expanded even more broadly than the Commonwealth campuses to invite campuses from across the region and their students and staff and faculty who are part of their campus farms and gardens to gather together and share with one another about what they're doing on their campus, and, you know, bring inspiration and ideas back home with them. So we'll be heading out to Lafayette College in, I think, 3 weeks. They agreed to host the third annual. So very excited that another campus was inspired to take the torch to keep that running. And I think that's really a testament that literally our students hosted a regional conference, the first ever, and then the second ever, and pulled it off. So again, like the budgeting and the logistics work that went into that, but that has been really well received. And, you know, just, yeah, it was a great way, I think, to connect both Commonwealth campuses as well as other colleges and universities.
Good stuff. Okay, I think we're really coming up on the end of our event, so I want to thank everyone for those thoughtful questions. If you think of others, I know there'll be a way to get in touch with us, and we'd be happy to follow up with that. If you'd like to view this presentation again, or you want to share with others, I think as we mentioned before, there's going to be a video recording that'll be sent to all the invitees, as well as the entire Noontime Knowledge series is available on the Raise Penn State YouTube channel. I want to thank you again, Leslie, for being here, as well as the students for sharing your work with us and your perspectives and passion. Your stories are really what make this effort so inspiring. Before we close, I do want to emphasize again the active campaign that we have underway to support the facility expansion. And if you're interested in supporting the farm through philanthropy, you can certainly use the QR code that's here to provide some general support towards the activities of the farm if you're moved to do so. But my contact info is also on the slide. Should you be interested in learning more or connecting us with those in your networks, I really welcome the opportunity to share some additional insights and assist exploring ways that this can you can help impact this priority initiative. So with that officially concludes our event for today. I really want to thank you again for taking the time to join us over the lunch hour, and take care and have a great day.
So I guess I'll also say thank you, Eric, and the development team behind the scenes for hosting us and, yeah, bringing us here to share. And thank you to all the students. You guys inspire me every day. So thanks, and thanks everyone for listening.